My name is Raz, and I main Havoc Demon Hunter in World of Warcraft. So, Blizzard recently released this single button rotation ability that essentially you put it on your bar and it lines up abilities for you and you just press one button and it quote unquote does your rotation for you, I guess. And I have heard from multiple sources that it is really bad for Demon Hunter, so I wanted to test this myself. But I wanted to test it in a leveling and random dungeon environment. The reason being is because most people that are going to be using this one button rotation are going to be the people who are just leveling and doing outdoor content. That being said, that's not everyone. Some folks might need it for physical accessibility reasons, such as motor control issues. Maybe they're missing fingers or have arthritis or something like that. So there are other reasons that you would use the one button rotation. I don't think anybody is recommending that you do really high level content with it, but I eventually do want to try some very light endgame content with it, but for now, I decided to try and level a fresh Demon Hunter just to see how it goes. So another disclaimer, if you've ever watched my past videos, you'll know that I do Heroic Raid and I do Mythic Plus as well, but this was not always the case. When I first started playing World of Warcraft way back in BFA, I was that casual leveler. I didn't even know what any endgame was. I didn't know what a Mythic Plus was. I had a vague idea of what a raid was from previous MMOs that I had played, but I had no intention of ever touching that content. I did eventually get into it because I joined a guild, but that was me. I was the casual leveler in WoW for a really long time, so I thought this would be a really good opportunity for somebody who started off as that type of player to test out this one button rotation and see if it is even viable for someone who might want to actually use this. So there are gonna be some chapters timestamped below, but basically what I did is I started off at level 8, that's what Demon Hunters start off as, and I leveled all the way up to 44 or 45, I can't remember exactly what level I ended up hitting, but this was over the course of about 2.5 hour streams, but no one really wants to watch all that. I mean, unless you do, it's up on my Twitch channel. But yeah, starting off from level 8, which by the way, I hate leveling Demon Hunters, and I will get into why later. I kind of summarize both the open world content and the dungeons that I did. Another disclaimer, I did queue for the Battle for Azeroth Timewalking dungeons, which we all know the scaling is really weird in those. And I certainly think that was a lot of what I was experiencing was some weird scaling. However, I did queue into a Dragonflight leveling dungeon as well. So we can also take a look at that. And then I also did a dungeon or two doing my normal rotation as well. So it's really hard to tell how good or bad it is, but honestly, the whole reason for me doing this was because I just wanted to see if this was even viable for a leveling and outdoor world perspective. Oh, and then one last disclaimer, promise this is the last one. I have been maining Demon Hunter since Season 3 of Shadowlands, and it has been a main alt of mine since I started in BFA. So yes, I do know Demon Hunter very well. I'm probably not playing it like a brand new player would play it. Yes, I do know about Blur and Chaos Nova and Metamorphosis and all the other tools that helps you stay alive in a sticky situation. So I did utilize some of those, although sometimes I did forget too, so it wasn't all the time that I was using that. So I am aware that I'm not playing this like a brand new player is, but still, I think my point still stands that I still wanted to see if this was viable. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing that I noticed is when I dropped into the world as my fresh Demon Hunter that the one button rotation was not available. I mean, I only had 3 abilities, Fel Rush, Demon's Bite, and Chaos Strike, so not that I really probably needed it at that point, but the whole point of this experiment was to do that. So then I logged on to my main and I noticed that I wasn't crazy that it was up in the corner of the spellbook like I thought, but I guess you don't get the single button rotation until you are able to pick a specialization, so there is just that. I then spent the next hour, yes, hour, in the Demon Hunter intro. This is not skippable. I even Googled it. It is not skippable, and yes, it is an hour long. And when I say an hour long, I mean I skipped every single piece of quest text. I did not do any bonus objectives. I speed ran the absolute hell out of the Demon Hunter intro, and it still took me, I want to say about an hour. There was probably some fluff time in there, but probably 50 minutes to an hour. This was way too long. It took up like half my stream when I first streamed this. Blizzard, can we please skip this? It's probably pretty cool if you have never played Demon Hunter before, and gives a lot of really cool information, and you really get into the vibe of what a Demon Hunter is like, but dear God, if you've done it before, you should be able to skip this. Honestly, if you've already done it once, you should be able to skip it. Anyway, that's the first reason why I hate leveling a Demon Hunter. We'll get into more reasons as this video continues. So I decided I was going to level this Demon Hunter through BFA. It's a big throwback for me. It's where I started. And I'm on Alliance side. And I never really played through the Alliance side for BFA. I did at one point, but I think I kind of skipped through everything, so I don't really know a whole lot of the story. So I decided I'll do it again because I've played through the Horde side so many times because I love it so much. Plus, I wanted to be a night elf for this character. I'm really glad I did because the Shadow Meld does come in handy, even in the outdoor leveling world. So I decided I was going to level through BFA. And then I also decided to queue up for the BFA Timewalking. And I got into a dungeon almost right away. It just so happened to be my favorite dungeon, Ataldazar. Ataldazar is my favorite Mythic Plus dungeon and just dungeon in general of all time. I love the aesthetic, I love the music, I love all of the fights except for Yasma. Anyway, I was really happy to get this dungeon. My damage was absolute bunghole, as you can see here. I don't know if this was because of scaling or because I was brand new or because my gear was absolute dog shit. It was probably a combination of all of the above, and then we also struggled to all kill the totems at the same time, so that was really fun. First dungeon, we didn't do so well, the one button rotation, but again, could be scaling, could be gear, could be a lot of things. I continued on with the open world leveling, and let me tell you, after playing Demon Hunter for so long and having to go back to Demon's Bite, which yes, you do need to play Demon's Bite when you are leveling a Demon Hunter because you don't really have any other way to build Fury. You will run Demon's Bite all the way up until about level 30-ish. Don't quote me on that. It's whenever you get Felblade, okay? I can't remember exactly when that was. It's just whenever you get Felblade, okay? It's like around that level 30-ish mark. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. Honestly, I liked doing the one button rotation with Demon's Bite more than trying to do my actual rotation, because I did actually try to do the rotation running Demon's Bite and it was horrible. I think maybe because I'm so used to not running with it and I'm just not used to having to constantly press it. So I actually really enjoyed the one button rotation when I was running Demon's Bite at least. But then once I got access to Felblade, even with the one button rotation, I didn't really find myself needing to press Felblade a whole lot. I did have to press it every once in a while, which by the way, the one button rotation is not going to press your Felblade, so you do have to press that. But as I was going along, Felblade does light up every once in a while, and I feel like someone new to Demon Hunter would see button light up and they would want to press it. So I don't think it's that bad of a thing in general that the one button rotation does not press your Felblade, because I really only pressed it when I wanted to either get into the face of a mob that was far away or if I needed to build Fury. So all in all, it wasn't that bad. Now, Metamorphosis. You don't get access to this until later on. Again, I can't remember exactly when I got my meta, okay? I can't. And again, this is one that the one button rotation will not press for you, and so I would often forget to press it. And the times that I did remember to press it was when I needed to save my own ass from almost dying, or if I remembered on the boss of a dungeon. So that is also a thing. So I feel like a new player would probably also forget to use their major cooldown unless they're told to. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of the outdoor world leveling a little bit more now that we're at this point. So now that I have access to Felblade and we drop the Insatiable Hunger talent for Demon Blades instead, I have found that even early on when I was running Demon's Bite, I wasn't dying all that often. The one button rotation was doing enough damage to all of the outdoor mobs that I didn't really have to worry about my own health too much, as long as I didn't accidentally pull too many mobs, which will happen, and that's normal. It's gonna happen in the outdoor world. You're gonna pull too many mobs. So, you know, just acknowledge that that is normal and that happens when you're doing outdoor content. You're gonna accidentally pull stuff. But for the most part, when I was doing all my quests as the single button rotation, it was doing just fine. I really was not dying. I didn't feel all that squishy. Honestly, it did pretty well, and I don't think, and it's not like I was getting absolutely farmed by everything. It was actually doing really well. But also keep in mind that Demon Hunter does have quite a bit of self-sustain and self-healing with the Shattered Souls. So just keep that in mind, that in general, as a Demon Hunter fights stuff, you are kind of self-healing and all that. So that is a perk of the class. But I was very happy to see that even when I was just going around in the outdoor world, doing my one button rotation, doing the quests, as long as I didn't really accidentally pull too much, I was surviving just fine, and the quests were going fine. I did queue up for this leveling Dragonflight dungeon, and as you can see from the damage, we weren't that bad. The Holy Priest was very high because the Holy Priest was a lower level, so again, that's a scaling issue, but overall, it wasn't doing too bad. So again, take that with a grain of salt. The scaling can be weird, but I feel like the scaling is slightly less weird in the leveling dungeons than it is the time-walking dungeons. I did find it very interesting that I was allowed to queue into the Battle for Azeroth time-walking as a fresh level, and I was being thrown in there with like super geared level 80s. So I don't know, that's just an interesting thing. I can't remember if they've done that before. But anyway, yeah, so the leveling dungeon, there was that, and then the final dungeon that I did this Shrine of the Storm that literally took 30 minutes for us to do. I don't know what was going on here. I think I looked at people's levels, and I think we were all around, like, everyone was kind of like in the 70s, and then I was the only one who was like in the 40s, and this is kind of what the damage looked like throughout the dungeon. I actually did really well despite all the scaling weirdness, so I don't really know what was going on with this dungeon, but yeah, that was the last dungeon I did, and that's when I hit about like 44 or 45 or something like that. Alright, so in conclusion, what do I think of this one button rotation? Well, again, so far I do not have access to all of my abilities yet, but so far from level 8 to level 44 or 45 or so, I think it's working really well. I think it especially works really, really well in the early stages when you are having to press Demon Bite, because pressing Demon Bite is really annoying, and it's why I hate leveling Demon Hunters. The Demon Blades, once you can swap to Demon Blades, everything gets better from there. So the one button rotation is perfectly fine for outdoor content. You're not dying all the time. It's enough damage, even with really, really, really crappy gear, to get the quests done. The dungeons, again, the first few were very rough starting out. Again, as we started to kind of scale up, things seemed to improve, but again, please take the dungeon damage with a grain of salt. The scaling is all weird, so just please keep that in mind. But overall, I think for somebody who is just looking to very casually level, this is fine. So far, it's fine. I am going to continue this. I'm going to take this character all the way to 80. So if you want to see what it's like to take a Demon Hunter all the way from base level all the way to 80, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the next video, and like this video if you enjoyed watching it. All right, that is all for now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!